YouTube, day 112 in a row of our 1 year Bible read. Give me 1 second to verify the day's date. Today is April the 19th. So that means today we'll be reading from April the 21st. Why? Because we're 2 days early. Yeah, getting ahead of schedule, right? This is, if you're new here, this is our 1 year Bible read. We do this every single day, typically around 8 p.m. EST. But if we're busy and we have a lot of things happening during the day, then we make sure we get it in for that day, you know. Um, and this one is a little later than normal, but this is day 112 in a row, chat. We're doing this for 365 days in a row. So there are still 200, and hear me out, 53 more days for you to show up. You know, so without further ado, let's get into what verses we'll be covering tonight, what verses we're going to be reading tonight. So the first verses of the night are coming from Joshua 22, 21 through 23, and then on verse 16. We're going to follow it up with another Luke tonight, Luke 20, 27 through 47. A good chunk out of Luke tonight. Then Psalms 89, 14 through 37. And then wrapping up tonight's read with Proverbs 13, 17 through 19. And it's day 112 in a row, chat. If you are enjoying these daily reads, please pull that lint out your pocket and double tap on the screen just to know that you enjoy the content and you want me to keep reading. Regardless of if you do it or not, I will still continue to read. But the likes on the streams are really appreciated. So let's get into the first part of the night's read, chat. Cross your legs, you know, like a studious person with no glasses on right now. So first read coming out of Joshua 22, 21 to 23, ending on verse 16. So then the people of Reuben, Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh answered the heads of the clans of Israel. The Lord, the mighty one, is God. The Lord, the mighty one, is God. He knows the truth, and may Israel know it too. We have not built the altar in treacherous rebellion against the Lord. We have done so. Do not spare our lives this day. If we have built an altar for ourselves to turn away from the Lord, or to offer burnt offerings or grain offerings or peace offerings, may the Lord himself punish us. The truth is, we have built this altar because we fear that in the future your descendants will say to ours, what right do you have to worship the Lord, the God of Israel? The Lord has placed the Jordan River as a barrier between our people and you people of Reuben and Gad. You have no claim to the Lord, so your descendants may prevent our descendants from worshiping the Lord. So we decided to build the altar, not for burnt offerings or sacrifices, but as a memorial. It will remind our descendants and your descendants that we, too, have the right to worship the Lord at his sanctuary with our burnt offerings, sacrifices, and peace offerings. Then your descendants will not be able to say to ours, you have no claim to the Lord. If they say this, our descendants can reply, look at this copy of the Lord's altar that our ancestors made. It is not for burnt offerings or sacrifices. It is a reminder of the relationship both of us have with the Lord. Far be it from us to rebel against the Lord or turn away from him by building our own altar for burnt offerings, grain offerings, or sacrifices. Only the altar of the Lord our God that stands in front of the tabernacle may be used for that purpose. When Phinehas, the priest, and the leaders of the community, the heads of the clans of Israel, heard this from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh, they were satisfied. Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, replied to them, today we know the Lord is among us because you have not committed this treachery against the Lord as we thought. Instead, you have rescued Israel from being destroyed by the hand of the Lord. Then Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, and the other leaders of the tribes of Reuben and Gad and Gilead, and returned to the land of Canaan to tell the Israelites what had happened. And all the Israelites were satisfied and praised God and spoke no more of war against Reuben and Gad. The people of Reuben and Gad named the altar Witness, for they said, it is a witness between us and them that the Lord is our God too. The years passed, and the Lord had given the people of Israel rest from all of their enemies. Joshua, who was now very old, called together all the elders, leaders, judges, and officials of Israel. He said to them, I am now very old. I'm now a very old man. You have seen everything the Lord your God has done for you during my lifetime. The Lord your God has fought for you against your enemies. I have allotted to you as your homeland all the land of the nations yet unconquered, as well as all the land of those we have already conquered. from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea in the west. This land will be yours, for the Lord your God will himself drive out all the people living there now. You will take possession of their land, just as the Lord your God promised you. So be very careful to follow everything Moses wrote in the book of instruction. Do not deviate from it, turning either to the right or to the left. Make sure you do not associate with other people still remaining in the land. Do not even mention the names of their gods, much less swear by them or serve them or worship them. Rather, cling tightly to the Lord your God as you have done until now. For the Lord has driven out great and powerful nations for you, and no one has yet been able to defeat you. Each one of you will put to flight 1,000 of the enemy. For the Lord your God fights for you, just as he has promised. So be very careful to love the Lord your God. But if you turn away from him and cling to the customs of the survivors of these nations remaining among you, and if you intermarry with them, then know for certain that the Lord your God will no longer drive them out of your land. Instead, they will be a snare and a trap to you, a whip for your backs, and a thorn brambles in your eyes. And you will vanish from this good land the Lord your God has given you. Soon I will die, going the way of everything on earth. Deep in your hearts, you know that every promise of the Lord your God has come true. Not a single one has failed, but as surely as the Lord your God has given you the good things he promised, he will also bring disaster on you if you disobey him. He will completely destroy you from this good land he has given you. If you break the covenant of the Lord your God by worshiping and serving other gods, his anger will burn against you, and you will quickly vanish from the good land he has given you. And chat, that is the end. Ooh, thank y'all for all the likes on the stream. I appreciate that. Can you shout out my cousin, Nick Hurt? We love your vids. Hey, I appreciate that, bro. Thank you. Seymour. Hey, appreciate that, bro. Bench, what's going on here, guy? All right, then. He's reading right now. He's not going to see your comment at the moment. Hey, I appreciate that, Unknown. Yep, I was currently reading from Joshua 22, 21 through 23, ending on verse 16. But what we're doing to hear that chat, we're doing day 112 in a row of our one-year Bible read. We have 253 more days left until we get to our 365-day landmark. Okay, but now let's get into Luke 20, 27 through 47. Then Jesus was approached by some Sadducees, religious leaders, who say there is no resurrection from the dead. They posed this question: Teacher, Moses gave us a law that if a man dies, leaving a wife with no children, his brother should marry the widow and have a child who will carry on the brother's name. Well, suppose there were 7 brothers. The oldest one married and then died without children. So the second brother married the widow, but he also died. Then the third brother married her. This continued with all 7 of them, who died without children. Finally, the woman also died. So tell us, whose wife will she be in the resurrection? For all 7 were married to her. Jesus replied, marriage is for the people here on earth, but in the age to come, those worthy of being raised from the dead will neither marry nor be given in marriage, and they will never die again. In this respect, they will be like angels. They are the children of God and the children of the resurrection. But now, as to whether the dead will be raised, even Moses proved this when he wrote about the burning bush. Long after Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had died, he referred to the Lord as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So he is the God of the living, not the dead, for they are all alive to him. Well said, teacher, remarked some of the teachers of religious law who were standing there. And then no one dared to ask him any more questions. Then Jesus presented them with a question. Why is it, he asked, that the Messiah is to be the son of David? For David himself wrote in the book of Psalms, the Lord said to my Lord, sit in the place of honor at my right hand until I humble your enemies, making them a footstool under your feet. Since David called the Messiah Lord, how can the Messiah be his son? Then with the crowds listening, he turned to his disciples and said, beware of these teachers of religious law, for they like to parade around in flowing robes and love to receive respectful greetings as they walk in the marketplaces, and how they love the seats of honor in the synagogues and the head table at the banquets. Yet they shamelessly cheat widows out of their property and then pretend to be pious by making long prayers in public. Because of this, they will be severely punished. And chat, that was the end of our read tonight from Luke 20, 27 through 47. And now we're going to get into Psalms 89:14-37. Righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Unfailing love and truth will walk before you as your tenants. Happy are those who hear the joyful call to worship, for they will walk in the light of your presence, Lord. They rejoice all day long in your wonderful reputation. They exult in your righteousness. You are their glorious strength. It pleases you to make us strong. Yes, our protection comes from the Lord, and he, the Holy One of Israel, has given us our King. Long ago, you spoke in a vision to your faithful people. You said, I have raised up a warrior. I have selected him from the common people to be king. I have found my servant David. I have anointed him with my holy oil. I will steady him with my hand. With my powerful arm, I will make him strong. His enemies will not defeat him, nor will the wicked overpower him. I will beat down his adversaries before him and destroy those who hate him. My faithfulness and unfailing love will be with him, and my authority he will grow in power. I will extend his rule over the sea, his dominion over the rivers, and he will call out to me, you are my Father, my God, and my rock of salvation. I will make him my firstborn son, the mightiest king on the earth. I will love him and be kind to him forever. My covenant with him will never end. I will preserve an heir for him. His throne will be as endless as the days of heaven. But if his descendants forsake my instructions and fail to obey my regulations, if they do not obey my decrees and fail to keep my commands, then I will punish their sin with the rod and their disobedience with beating. But I will never stop loving him, nor fail to keep my promise to him. No, I will not break my covenant. I will not take it back a single word I said. I have sworn an oath to David, and in my holiness I cannot lie. His dynasty will go on forever. His kingdom will endure as the sun. It will be as eternal as the moon. My faithfulness witnesses in the sky. Okay, and now Proverbs 13:17-19. An unreliable messenger stumbles into trouble, but a reliable messenger brings healing. If you ignore criticism, you will end in poverty and disgrace. If you accept correction, you will be honored. It is pleasant to see dreams come true, but fools refuse to turn from evil to attain them. And now, the power of the painful truth. The power of the painful truth. The power of the painful truth. It would seem foolish to enjoy criticism, yet it would be even more foolish to ignore whatever truth is found in it. Too often, those who love us refuse to tell us the truth about ourselves because our reactions in the past may have been extreme or even punitive. Just because we have blind spots and find it difficult to see the truth about ourselves does not mean others cannot see us and see through us. Rather than rail against difficult truth, invite it, examine it, and become a better man because of it. In chat, that is the end of today's One Year Bible Read. Day 112. Hey, what's up, backhand? Welcome back, bro. I haven't seen you in a minute, man. LeBron the GOAT. What's up with you, bro? I'm surprised you're not watching the game right now. Hey, thank you for joining my stream. Thank you for joining my stream. I appreciate that. That has been today's read from the One Year Bible, day 112 in a row. But before we leave chat, we're going to do our same thing we do every single time, every single read. We're going to ask for clarity and wisdom. I'm going to turn off my camera because I don't like being on camera when I'm, praying and stuff. So give me 1 second. Hey, what's up, basketball? How you doing, bro? I'm going to turn off this camera, and I'll be back in a brief second. Okay, time for the camera to turn back on. All right, chat. So we're about to wrap up here, right? But before we wrap up, let's talk about today's word. Let's talk about today's word, chat. I'm sorry, I probably should stop saying that's the end of the stream because then everybody leaves. But so I'm gonna stop saying that in the future. But uh, before we go out for the night, though, let's go over tonight's word, right? So there's a couple verses I do want to talk about. Okay, but this stuck out here. This is from Luke 21, 1 through 28. He replied, "Don't let anyone mislead you, for many will come in my name, claiming I am the Messiah, and saying, the time has come, but don't believe them. And when you hear of wars and insurrections, don't panic. Yes, these things must take place first, but the end won't follow immediately." Then he added, "Nations will go to war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be earthquake." Ooh, hold up, I'm a day early. I'm sorry, chat. Ooh, but that's a good read for tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that one. Ooh, I haven't seen that verse in a while. Okay. Here we go. This is the verse I wanted to read. Here we go. This is verse right here, right? So verse 37 from Luke 20, 27 through 47. But now as to whether the dead will be raised, even Moses proved this when he wrote about the burning bush. Long after Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had died, he referred to the Lord as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So he is the God of the living, not the dead, for they are all alive to him. Well said, teacher, remarked some of the teachers of religious law who were standing there. And then no one dared to ask him any more questions. That verse right there should tell you not to fear death. Because when you die and when you leave this place as someone who is faithful to God, you don't die, right? The only thing that believes in death is something people call the ego, right? But to not live in fear of death, right? You have to remember that you don't die, and this proven here. But now as to whether the dead will be raised, even Moses proved this when he wrote about the burning bush. Long after Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had died, he referred to the Lord as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. So he's the God of the living, not the dead. For they are all alive to him. We don't die to God. We are always with God, bro. So one main thing, right? There's really nothing to fear here, because the biggest fear would have been death, right? Your biggest fear would have been death. But that's been debunked right here in this verse from Luke. From Luke 20, 27 to 47. That's been debunked right there. There is no death for real. So the main biggest fear that we all have should be gone now at this point, right? And now Proverbs 13, 17 to 19. An unreliable messenger stumbles into trouble, but a reliable messenger brings healing. If you ignore criticism, you will end in poverty and disgrace. If you accept correction, you will be honored. It is pleasant to see dreams come true, but fools refuse to turn from evil to attain them. So, it's like just the same thing over and over and over again. But you got to get to the point eventually. It is pleasant to see dreams come true, but fools refuse to turn from evil to attain them. But fools refuse to turn from evil to attain them. That is the main part of there, right? It is pleasant to see dreams come true, but fools refuse to turn from evil to attain them. Yeah. The evil ways, though, may not be the things most people think the evil ways are, though. You know, evil ways, the evil way is fear. That's the most evilest way to live, in fear. That's what I've gotten from reading for 112 days in a row. The evil ways, the evilest way to live is to live in fear. That's the most evil way to live, is to live in fear. Because as we read 112 days in a row, God wants you to live life and live life more abundantly. He wants you to live through love, right? What God doesn't want you to do is to live through fear, right? And the evil ways of the world is to live through fear. So if you want to make it to heaven, you might as well stop being scared of everything. I mean, we read the same, we get the same kind of message with different words over and over again, you know? And in so many different ways, these verses tell you to, in different ways of pitfalls that other people fell into through these parables from Jesus. It tells you these other pitfalls that other people fell into that were all fear-based pitfalls. Every single one of them were all fear-based pitfalls, right? And the further you read in here, it just tells you different ways, and like different ways of how to debunk fear. You know, like you were a scientist or something, right? It just gives you so many different passages on how to just debunk fear. It just hits so many different types of fear and then removes them. You know, it tells you that it was never any use for any of it, right? It just tells you there was never any use for any of it. It is pleasant to see dreams come true, but fools refuse to turn from evil to attain them. Will you turn away from fear today to attain your dreams? Because that's the evil ways. I don't know if anybody tells you that, but are you going to turn away from fear? Because fear is the evil way. Fear is the evil way. You know, it's pleasant to see dreams come true, but fools refuse to turn from evil to attain them. Will you turn away from fear? Because fear is the evil here. You know, bars. If it rhymes, it must be true. You know, when you turn away from fear to achieve whatever dream you are trying to achieve, that is the evil way. According to the Bible, fear is the evil way. You know, that's what we got so far. But we got a long ways to go, chat. We got a long ways to go. It's day 112. We still have 253 more days of reading to do. So we got a lot to learn. We got a lot to read. I just want to say thank y'all for all the likes. This is a great like stream. I appreciate that. Thank you for all the new people who joined. Thank you for all the new chatters. I really appreciate that. This is day 112 in a row. I love doing this. I do. I genuinely do. Every single day, I want to do this read. I may run into like a conflicting feeling, but I just get over that feel, and I want to read, right? It feels amazing. But we're gonna wrap up tonight. We're gonna wrap up tonight's stream, and I just want to say thank you to everybody one more time. And let's hit this outro. We all got that limitless core, baby. I appreciate you. I might even love you, but I'm for sure glad you woke up today. Thank you for joining me for today. 112 days in a row today. Tomorrow will be 113 days in a row. I'm enjoying this for sure. I'm enjoying this. And I hope you guys are too. And it's peace. We out of here. I'm going to go do something else now. Probably go finish and watch the rest of that game that's on right now. So y'all have a great one. A blessed rest of y'all night. And I'm going to see y'all tomorrow. Peace.